Ooh. What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Claru.
This is our spoiler chat for episode 5 of Loki. We get Nerdy Nightly.
And we thought we'd share it with you.
That is right. Welcome back to the channel as we discuss... I don't actually know the title of this one. I didn't look it up.
Oh, I think it was called Good Mischief or something.
Good Mischief.
I don't know. I thought I saw it when I was just looking. I didn't make an effort to remember it, but for some reason that's what's in my head. So,
interesting. What'd you think of it? Journey into Mystery. It's called Journey into Mystery.
Never mind then. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know. You know what? It's a great name for an episode. You can have it, Disney.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Journey into Mystery is a comic from the...
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway, what did you think of the episode?
Wow, I was so wrong. It was good. It was good. It did not, wow me or blow me away.
No, it's kind of fine.
The last three have. Which is fine. I guess they can't all be bangers, but I don't know.
I think my excitement at the Loki variants at the end of last episode when we first met Kid Loki, Original Loki, and Boastful Loki and Alligator Loki, my excitement was to see how they would influence the plot of the show. Yeah. And in a lot of ways they didn't. No. And so it just felt kind of... it felt like we spent a lot of time with them in this episode, but... For
no payoff. For no reason.
And look, I want to be honest, the original Loki's death at the end of this episode, great. The hero's death that he goes through, the magic, that was all cool. But I don't... it's the penultimate episode of this show, and I've just kind of had this feeling of I don't care about new characters right now. There's a lot of our main characters who I want to spend more time with. And I felt like we didn't get to do that, really. Yeah.
We didn't really at all. There was nothing... there was a lot of things that happened, but nothing that really meant anything until the end. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which was... It kind of felt almost like a fillery episode. Well, which is weird, because they only have 6.
Yeah, the purpose of it was just to get people together. But what was kind of weird about it is Sylvie prunes herself after talking with Judge Renslayer. I finally know that character's name. And that was fine, but it was those were long scenes of them chatting about nothing. Yeah. And I guess Renslayer betrays them again, but I don't know, that wasn't an interesting twist on that character. I didn't expect her to be on.
She betrayed them again. Yeah. I was well, okay.
And so she proves herself. She's a bad guy. Ends up in the Void World or whatever they're calling it, and Mobius happens to be nearby with a cart. I said this to you and I haven't. I was is that the Ford Anglia from Chamber of Secrets when it's first driving up? And it has the pizza on top and it's not, but it's just the same color and same shape coming out of. I was Is this a Harry Potter crossover? That feels... I didn't think Marvel would want to associate with J.K. Rowling right now.
Yeah, it's and it was not, but yeah, he was very conveniently right there, so she didn't get eaten by the big purple ghost monster.
Alioth or Alith or a very, very obscure comic book character. I think it's Alioth or something like that. You can Google it, and if you put in its name and you hit images, an image of it from the comics doesn't even come up. That's how obscure a character this is. This is a pull, y'all. Wow. And at the very end we'll talk about the end of the episode and what this character probably insinuates and where the show's probably headed now that we kind of have an idea. But this moment we get Mobius back, and we get a scene with Mobius and Sylvie. Yeah. It's fun. It's great. They have a good chemistry. I wish that had been more of the episode.
Yeah, more of Mobius, to be honest. Look, I understand what they were trying to do. They brought in some other Loki variants. They wanted to, do service to the Lokis that have been through all, the ages in the comics, right? And I thought that it was a really interesting, awesome idea, but the fact that none of them played into anything that really actually mattered except the one at the very end was kind of disappointing, because you have the 4 Lokis, well, 5, I guess, at first, because the 4, like, you've got Crocodile Loki, Kid Loki, Rageful Loki?
Boastful Loki.
Boastful Loki, I don't know. And then the, like, original...
Yeah.
One. And then Loki's like, we gotta go do something. And they're like, ha ha ha, no. And then they just go to, like, a cave and start, like, drinking wine.
Yeah.
And then they're accosted by a bunch of other Lokis.
President Loki.
Yeah. Yeah. There's, like, a whole, like, there's, like, 10 other Lokis.
Yep.
And you're like, cool.
That action sequence was fun.
It was, but it amounted to nothing in the grand scheme of the story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, it's fun.
A lot of this episode was fun. A lot of this episode was fun, and I enjoyed it. It's weird. It's like the last 2 episodes have been so... I have felt like the last episodes have really been, like, focused.
Yeah.
And been, like, driving relationships forward and driving characters forward. And this sort of felt like, okay, we just have to get everyone back together because we wanted to have a big cliffhanger at the end of last episode.
Yeah.
But the big cliffhanger at the end of last episode doesn't matter as much at the end of this episode because the characters are now where they were at the end of 2 episodes ago. Mobius is in the TVA and Sylvie and Loki are together on some weird planet. But, like, physically they're in the same spot, and Loki and Sylvie are essentially in the same spot emotionally. The only person who I guess has more information is Mobius, but he had the same amount of information at the end of last episode. Kid Loki didn't do much except give a sword to Loki, but Loki can make his own swords. So I just was kind of like, all right, like, this is all fine. It's all, like, this is cool, and it's fun, and these characters are great, and the actors are spectacular. But this was just kind of like all right, well, this is episode 5.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the biggest development was honestly that Loki, that Sylvie taught Loki how to use her specific kind of powers.
Yeah, that's true.
But that was, like, right at the very, very end.
Mm-hmm. The last, like, 5 minutes are great. It's that this episode is one of the longer episodes of the show. This
episode could have been 30 minutes, and it's 50.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I don't know. I liked it. I don't want.
No.
This hasn't, like, dampened the show for me, but this is definitely.
No, I didn't dislike it. It just, like, the past 3 have been so good.
Yeah.
Like, so good that we've been getting more and more and more hyped, and this one was definitely, like, a little dip before the finale.
But not because anything in it was bad.
No.
But only because what was in it wasn't as important to this story.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like they were really, really focused on telling the next step of this story.
Yes.
It felt like they were like, and then while Loki was on this planet, some weird stuff happened before we get back to what matters. And that's fine. It's fine. But you know, like, there is the interaction between B-15, Moonmi Musaku's character, and she crushes that scene between her and Renslayer, and her and Gugu and Bathara, just both were just, like, they're such good actresses. But, like, that was a conversation where both of them had all the information that they walked into that scene with at the end. Like, no one learned anything from it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it informed either of their characters very much. It, like, existed to let us know that
she's still
B-15
alive.
is in a cell.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was like, you are both just saying things that are true.
Yeah.
And this episode had a lot of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This show has felt very intentional about a lot of the ways that it's been handling things, and this was the first time where I was like, I'm not sure why this is happening.
Yeah, and I think that's why it stood out so much, because everything up until this point has been very, very intentional. It all serves a purpose.
This sort of felt like the first episode to me.
Yeah, but at least the first episode was, like, set up. This didn't really set up anything. Sort of.
Should we talk about the end of the episode?
Sure.
They go to fight the cloud monster. And this time it is a justified cloud monster. Unlike Fantastic Four Riders of the Silver Surfer when Galactus was a cloud monster, or Green Lantern when Parallax was a cloud monster. Am I forgetting any of the, like, bad cloud monster designs? Those are the 2 that really stick out to me, is Galactus and Parallax. But this cloud monster is justified because in the comics, it's a cloud monster.
Is it a cloud monster in Spider-Man?
Cloud Monster and Spider-Man.
It's when it's oh god.
Which Spider-Man?
The most recent one where it's actually a bunch of drones like with a hologram, but it looks kind of
No. That's not a Cloud Monster. That's a like living tornado.
Okay.
That's
I
cool.
Couldn't remember.
No, but and that's different. That is not like nebulous cloud.
Yeah.
Like there's a point in this episode. There's 2 points in this episode where Sylvie is grabbing the cloud to enchant it, and both times I was like, "What are you holding?"
Yeah.
Like what is the But
it has a mouth, right? So it has to have some kind of like solid corporeal.
Oh sure, they grab something.
Mass.
I just don't know what it is that they grabbed.
Yeah.
Something that cloud kills people. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
This cloud monster actually looked pretty cool. I liked it looked like a devil dog skull design.
Yeah.
I actually really like that. I appreciated the design of this episode. The design of this episode, 10 out of 10. Alligator Loki, 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Richard E. Grant as original Loki, 10 out of 10. Crushes the whole, like, honestly, the highlight of the episode, because they kind of give him an arc, and it was really cool to see. Mm-hmm. And the when he builds Asgard at the end, it's 10 out of 10. Really cool.
Yeah, it looked incredible.
This might have been the most visually impressive episode.
Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah, but then we meet they go fight the Cloud Monster, and so from the comics, this Cloud Monster is from the same place and like time as Kang the Conqueror.
Okay, so they are alluding to. And
so in the comics, Kang the Conqueror, who's from the 31st century, has a castle called Castle Limbo, and so it's Kang.
Yeah.
And, like, Renslayer is in... the character that Gugu Mbatha is playing in this is a love interest of Kang the Conqueror in the comics. So, it's Kang. If it's not Kang, at this point, it's weird. It's weird. Like, you did too much work to set up the red herring of Kang the Conqueror if it doesn't end up being Kang the Conqueror now.
Right, yeah.
And I've seen some people online be like, maybe it's Dr. Doom's castle. I doubt it. It's Kang. It's gonna be Kang.
Yeah, at this point, like...
And that's cool.
Yeah, it makes no sense. But it is. It is very cool.
It's hopefully cool.
It's hopefully cool.
Yeah. I'm excited for Kang because, God, I hope his name is either Jonathan Majors or Jonathan Powers. From Lovecraft Country. He's great. He's so good on that show. He's you know, we've talked about him before on morning shows and stuff. Like, he's in talks to be the main villain in Creed 3. Mm-hmm. He's about to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's so good. And so I'm excited for him to play Kang. Time travel just always makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we saw with Tomorrow War, like the weakest parts of Tomorrow War, the movie we did a spoiler chat for last week. It was the time travel. Time travel's hard to do, and
it's
so Kang is
time travel. Yeah.
God, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I don't have a ton much more to say about the episode because there was kind of not a lot in there.
What was your favorite Loki?
Probably Crocodile Loki. I think had the most personality.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, the boastful Loki was kind of like, eh.
I expected more from him. I feel... Not from the actor. I thought the actor was actually really funny.
No, they gave the guy nothing to do.
I wanted to see him more.
And then Kid Loki was fine. He was, like, negative up until the end when he gave Loki a sword. And I was like...
A very short sword.
That is definitely, like, closer to what an arming sword, though, what would have been.
All right. Okay, fair.
That one's kind of in between a dagger and an arming sword, but, like, arming swords were not that big.
Fair. I like the actor they cast for Kid Loki, and so if they do want to bring him back for a new Avengers run, Kid Loki is a member of that.
Yeah.
At certain times, depending on the comic run, I would be really down for that actor. I think he looks great. I thought he was moody and interesting, and I really appreciated him. Again, like, a lot of this was, and here's what I think ultimately it is with this episode. I think that they introduced a lot of things that were only going to be in one episode of television. Mm-hmm. And so I gravitated to the ones I gravitated to, and there were just so many things that I couldn't gravitate to everything at the same time. And so I think I just felt like a little left out of a couple of things.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because there's nobody that did a bad job. Like, again, like, I think this was the best looking episode of the show.
Oh, who was your favorite Loki?
Original Loki. Richard E. Grant. I mean, he's just, like, he's such an incredible actor. He brings so much to the Rise of Skywalker. in that role. I think he's so good in that movie. I think he's so good here. He really is just like, he has a gravitas to him that is hard to compare to on screen. He is genuinely just magnetic and interesting and somber but joyful, and like his performance here for a 1-episode role was just awesome, honestly.
The first time I saw him in anything was Doctor Who.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, he's just one of those like actors who like takes the craft seriously and always puts in a good performance. And this was a good one, honestly, and his arc was interesting.
Yeah,
I liked...
he actually got a moment, which was really awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, like I liked the moment of him making the thing and Loki turning to Sylvie and being like, I think we're more powerful than we think we are. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It also means that like I don't want Loki's tenure in the MCU to end here with the show. So whether it's Kid Loki in New Avengers or whether Sylvie becomes the new Loki, and like honestly watching Thor have to deal with his dead brother now being his sister, and like how complicated that would be really fun.
But here's the thing, this show takes place in between things. So, and Sylvie hasn't been in anything yet, so do you think that Sylvie survives?
What do you mean this show takes place in between things?
Doesn't this
the show takes place at a time, like they travel everywhere.
But I mean, like when Loki comes, oh god, the timeline. Okay, so the very beginning of this show started.
Loki gets pulled out of 2012.
Yes. And then, like, we don't really know, I guess, where he comes back in, right?
He doesn't come back in.
Right, we haven't seen him in anything else since then.
Yeah, we have. The timeline. You're talking about the real Loki.
Yeah.
So Loki then goes to the prison in Asgard, and then Thor: The Dark World happens. And then
Dark World is... oh my god.
Oh, yeah. So at the beginning of the show, he gets pulled out of Avengers. The moment at the end of the first Avengers.
Right, yeah.
So this is before Loki has sent Odin to Earth, become Odin for a while, got caught as Odin, gone to Ragnarok, helped kill his sister Hela, and then gotten killed by Thanos. That all happens after this Loki gets pulled out. But that's
what I mean. Like, Sylvie is not in anything. And that's why it's weird for time travel stuff to take place. Like, it's weird to do prequel stuff for the character, because if there's characters in that prequel that you don't see in later things...
But it's not a prequel.
No,
it's a multiverse.
It's that... Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so these characters are going to return.
So you think Sylvie lives?
I almost expect her to be in Ant-Man now.
Okay.
If Kang the Conqueror is introduced here and is the villain of Ant-Man, and honestly, Kang could be the next Thanos, right? Like, Kang could be the next big villain of the MCU. I could see Sylvie being pulled into Ant-Man to help explain that, and to tie those things together. I could see Loki and Sylvie together being in the next big Avengers crossover as like the anti-Kang team. 100%. I could absolutely see that happening.
Okay.
I could see an army of Lokis in whatever the anti-Kang big finale movie is, right? The new Avengers are getting swamped and they're losing to Kang, and the on your left portal moment is replicated sort of but it's just a bunch of Lokis.
Amazing.
And Loki comes to the rescue. Like, I could see them doing something like that. I don't know. I think Sylvie is a strong enough character. I think Sophia DiMartino is an interesting enough actress.
Oh, I would love to see more of her and her character.
I think Marvel doesn't cast people unless they have bigger plans for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even like some of the people, like Falcon the Winter Soldier or Captain America the Winter Soldier now, like those actors are coming back in those roles. U.S. Agent is going to return. The one spoiler cameo from the last episode, she's going to be in Black Widow. You know what I mean? Like, right. So this stuff all ties together, and I would be really shocked if Loki's a closed loop. Yeah. We've already heard there might even be a season 2 of the show.
Yeah.
So, like, who knows? At this point, who knows? I just think that watching Sylvie as Loki interact with Thor would be really fun.
I agree. I would definitely pay money to see that.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. I'm wondering if there's going to be any cameos next week. I doubt it, except for Kang. If there's a cameo, it'll be Kang or Doctor Doom or whoever the villain ends up being.
Yeah.
Doctor Doom would be interesting if this is how they introduce the Fantastic Four, but I don't know.
Yeah.
This episode was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
I'm really excited for next week.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Me too. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we felt this exact same way about the second last episode of WandaVision too.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. There's something about penultimate episodes, because it's the opposite of the Game of Thrones thing, right? Game of Thrones was like the second last episode was huge, and then the last episode was the fallout. Whereas Marvel's not doing any fallout. There's no like there's nothing after because it always rolls into the next story. Mm-hmm. And so the second last episode is just setting up the finale. And honestly, I don't know what this finale is going to be.
I don't know either.
It doesn't really feel very set up, but like I'm excited to meet the head of the TVA, and I'm excited to see what Mobius does.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Will Mobius get a jet ski next episode?
Yes. Yeah.
That'll be the final shot, is Owen Wilson
on a jet ski.
I cheered. I stood up and cheered when they revealed him to be alive.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
I did.
You seemed so surprised, and I was like, yeah.
I didn't realize how much I love this guy. Mobius is like one of my favorite Marvel characters. I want a Mobius movie. I just want, and not even like with the TVA. I want Mobius just like chilling in. This is what I want. I want Mobius to get to go back to his life, and he's like aware of stuff, but he's not a part of it anymore. He's a little retired. You know what I mean? And he's just like living, and there's like Avengers level stuff happening in the background of the movie that he's aware of, but he's like, I'm gonna let him handle it. And he's just like watching the news with like an iced tea.
Oh my god.
That's the movie I want.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that's our spoiler chat for this episode. We probably missed something, but I don't know what it was.
I don't know. I don't think
we missed. We didn't talk about the opening shot. That was just the longest pan.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I forgot about it.
I turned to Clarice. I was like, "Wow, I understand how this episode's 50 minutes."
Yeah, it's just very long.
It was very worth it. It was very worth it for the final shot of like the mouth and Alioth or what It was cool, but I was like, "Wow, this is a really long pan. This is it's going." We went through 3 different worlds.
Yeah.
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 All right, let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments down below. Like the episode, hit the subscribe button, or don't. Dislike us. Leave mean comments. Hit the dislike button. The algorithm god is hungry, and we must feed her, like the nebulous cloud from this episode. As always, you can follow us over on Twitch. I'm over at twitch.tv/nerdynightly.
I'm over at twitch.tv/Clarstakaris.
And as always, y'all, my name is Clarus.
Nope. Do something nerdy tonight.
You're not gonna go along with me on that one?
I'm nerdy.
I don't talk like that.
No, I just...
Bye.